If you're curious about what's happening in Spanish Fort, Alabama, you've come to the right place. This town is evolving and transforming, so buckle up because I'm going to dive into the heart of these changes and what they could mean for you. From the developing real estate to the community vibe, lifestyle, and recreation, Spanish Fort in 2024 is not what it used to be. So let's begin with the real estate scene in Spanish Fort. And I say this as a whole because it's not just the price tags that are changing, the whole landscape of available homes is growing. Every time we drive through Spanish Fort, there's a new neighborhood popping up. It's shifting from that traditional single-family vibe to something more modern. For those wanting that classic suburban house with a big yard and a white picket fence, this new home trend might be a bit of a curveball. The market's leaning towards modern, more compact living spaces. Now, these modern developments come with some perks. You'll find that neighborhoods have amenities like pools and gyms and houses with smart home technology. It's a different kind of luxury. But with that luxury comes a new kind of neighborhood dynamic. You've got different people moving in, maybe a younger crowd, or there's a lot of out-of-state buyers. It can definitely change that whole small town feel of the community, but the common goal we are seeing is that everyone wants that slower paced southern lifestyle. And at the end of the day, it's bringing locals and transplants together. And another positive is a lot of these new homes are being made affordable, and we're in need of something affordable because everything is just so darn expensive these days. And I know I say this a lot in probably every video I make, but I feel really bad for our kids when they become adults. I don't know how they're going to afford their very first home. Back in my day, I bought my first home for $125,000. Right now, it's like $350,000. But okay, back to the changes we're seeing. These new neighborhoods are also coming with rules and regulations. With these new developments, there might be HOA fees, specific community guidelines. It's a lot to consider before you sign on that dotted line. So for anyone eyeing homes for sale in Spanish Fort, it's crucial to think about what kind of home and community that you really want. Whether you're all for modern living or you're searching for that traditional suburban feel, Spanish Fort's real estate market in 2024 is all about variety and choices. All right, let's chat about the community vibe in Spanish Fort. This place used to be all about that small town charm where everyone knows your name, but it's definitely taking on a new character lately. As more folks are drawn to Spanish Fort for its appeal, the influx is changing the fabric of the community. It's like that cozy, everyone knows everyone feel is gradually expanding into something more. This very small town is starting to feel more suburban with all the new developments and growing amenities. But with new people come new ideas, like new businesses popping up, and let's not forget more cars on the road. I remember when you could zip across town in no time. Those days are becoming a fond memory. And that's okay, maybe we were just spoiled for a really long time. The local events calendar is getting packed. It's not just traveling to the annual Baldwin County Fair over in Robertsdale anymore. Spanish Fort has its own festivals. They've got Music Fest, they have food truck rallies, and all sorts of community gatherings. It's lively, but definitely a shift from the quieter lifestyle some residents are used to. But I look at all of these things on the bright side. With all these new events and spots opening up, there's always something to do. And that's great because a lot of y'all are retirees coming down here to enjoy, sunshine and great weather and just get out and mingle. It's great for families and anyone looking to be part of an active community. And it's not just the quantity of activities, but the quality too. I mean, these new restaurant locations like Beef O'Brady's and Ed's Seafood Shack, those are game changers for people. You don't have to drive to the Causeway or to downtown Mobile or downtown Fair. You've got these right in town. I can't not mention Old 31 Brewing. This is another great spot. I love how they always are changing up the beer menu and adding small batches. That's something that Spanish Fort definitely hasn't had before. And I totally think there's room for more. It really feels like the town has gotten a makeover. And for some, it might be a bit overwhelming. I totally get that, especially for those who cherish that slower pace. But for others, it's an exciting time to be in Spanish Fort. You are part of the growth. I'd say the key here is to understand that Spanish Fort is evolving, and with it, the community vibe. Whether that's your cup of tea or not, it's important to know what you're signing up for if you're planning to move here. I have to mention schools of Spanish Fort, of course, because I talk to families with school-age kids almost every day, and I know they're very important. We all know education is a big deal, and with the town growing, our schools are feeling the impact, and the city is responding, and they're not just adding a few new classrooms, we're actually seeing brand new schools, updated tech facilities, and some changes of the zones. With new facilities come new opportunities like advanced courses and extracurriculars, but I know it's a double-edged sword. More students means larger classroom sizes, and we all know how important that teacher-to-student ratio is for quality of education. Plus, with zoning changes, some families might find themselves in a different school district than they had initially planned on being in. But on the bright side, these changes are a sign of investment in education in Spanish Fort. New tech, new sports facilities, it's all part of preparing our kids for their futures. So for families thinking of moving to Spanish Fort, it's worth doing your homework, especially on the local schools. Understand the changes and what they could mean for you and your kids. At the end of the day, Spanish Fort is still a lot smaller than Daphne or even Fairhope, so that could be a positive or a negative depending on what you're looking for exactly. Finding the right fit for your family and ensuring your kids get the best education possible is something you always hope for. And I can say that I've never, ever had anyone say that they regretted moving here because of the schools. In fact, I hear the exact opposite. I constantly hear that Spanish Fort schools are some of the best. All right, let's shift gears to infrastructure. Spanish Fort's not just expanding in population, but also in its physical layout. New developments are springing up, and with them comes a whole lot of construction over time. It seems like every other week there's talks about something coming or changes being made. It's a sign of progress, sure, but it also means dealing with the nitty-gritty of development, like those never-ending construction zones. And let's not forget the traffic detours. What used to be a quick drive across town can now take twice the amount of time as it did before. It's all a part of the growing process, but it can test your patience, especially during rush hour. Developments can really add to the quality of life in Spanish Fort, but it comes at a cost. You get more amenities, maybe even some cool new hangout spots, and as we know, it can positively impact our property values. It's like Spanish Fort is getting a facelift and we all get to enjoy the benefits, but at what cost? Bottom line, it's balance, isn't it? You get the excitement of a town coming into its own, but also the disruption that comes with it. For residents, especially those who've been here for a long time, it's a bit of a trade-off. For those considering moving to Spanish Fort, keep in mind that the town is in a state of transformation, and it's about embracing the new while navigating the challenges that come with growth and development. Now let's talk lifestyle. Spanish Fort isn't just changing its look, it's also revamping how we live and play. The recreational scene here is getting a major boost. I swear every time I blink, there's a new sports complex, a revamped park, or a trail popping up. It's fantastic for residents who love staying active and trying new things and just getting out of the house and doing something. And it's not all land-based activities. The waterfront is getting its share of the spotlight too. We're talking kayaking, paddleboarding, and even some fishing piers are being added. If you haven't watched our other videos, Spanish Fort is a real outdoorsman paradise. With all these new activities and facilities, it does mean the quiet, laid-back recreation style some folks loved is evolving. Those serene, untouched spots are becoming more vibrant and populated. But isn't that the beauty of growth? More options for fun, more ways to enjoy the outdoors. Sure, it might mean sharing your favorite secret trail with a few more people, but it's also about being part of a community that values health and recreation. And to me, that's Spanish Fort. This place is becoming a hub for sports and outdoor activities, and that's something to celebrate. You just might need to find a new favorite spot. And who knows, you might discover a new hobby or sport you never knew you'd love. Pickleball has become the most popular sport here on the Eastern Shore, and I never thought I'd like it. It's grown so much on me to the point where I have pickleball rackets and balls in the backseat of my car at all times. And it's definitely really trending down here, so you should consider getting into it. So for anyone thinking of moving here, consider what kind of recreational lifestyle you're after. Spanish Fort in 2024 is all about active living, community engagement, and enjoying the great outdoors. If you're ready to make Spanish Fort your home, remember, we're here to help you figure it all out. My name's Joss. My husband Tony and I are the #1 relocation team in all of Baldwin County, so call us today. And to learn more about living in Lower Alabama, check out this next video.